It's a story that still chills people. The Yuba County Five. 5 men, all friends, all with intellectual disabilities, vanishing into the cold California mountains in 1978. It's a mystery, a tragedy, and it leaves you with so many questions. Why? How? And sometimes you can't help but wonder about the simplest things. Things we have now. Like a cell phone. Would a cell phone have saved them? You have to go back to 1978. It wasn't just a different year, it was a different world. No internet, no GPS. No social media, communication was a landline, a payphone, maybe a CB radio if you were lucky. Maps were paper. Getting lost meant being truly lost. Being alone meant being utterly alone. The 5 men and Gary Dale Mathias, Jack Hewitt, William Sterling, Jack Madruga, and Theodore Whiteher, they went to a basketball game. That was February 24th, 1978. They were in Chico, they left that night, heading back towards Yuba City. Of a drive that should have been straightforward, but something went terribly wrong. Their car, Madruga's Mercury Montego, was found 5 days later. Not on the main road home. Not even close. It was high up in the Plumas National Forest, on the Oroville-Quincy Highway, a winding, remote mountain road. Over 70 miles off their route, and the car was stuck in snow, but it wasn't broken down. It had gas. It could have been driven out if it hadn't been stuck, but they weren't in it. They were gone. The search started, days passed, weeks, then months, and then the heartbreaking discoveries. 4 of the men were found, some miles from the car, some in very strange circumstances. So Gary Mathias, the 5th man, was never found. The details of their deaths, the way they were found, it just added to the horror. It still doesn't make sense. Now, let's just imagine. What if they had a cell phone? Not just any cell phone, but a modern smartphone. The kind we carry in our pockets every day. A device with GPS, with the ability to call anyone, anywhere, at any time. A way to send messages, to get help, to find information. Would that little slab of technology have changed everything for them? Think about the beginning. The journey itself. They were driving at night, they missed a turn, or they took a wrong turn. Or someone told them to go a different way. We don't know. But they ended up way off course. In 1978, if you made a wrong turn on a dark, unfamiliar road, especially in rural areas, you might not know it for miles and miles. You might not see a sign. You might just keep going, thinking you were on the right path or hoping to find a turnoff. There was no friendly voice from a map app saying, in 200 feet, turn left. No glowing blue line showing you exactly where you were and where you should be. But with a cell phone, the first hint of being lost would be instantly clear. As Madruga, the driver, or one of the others could have pulled up a map app, they would have seen their location, the little blue dot, drifting further and further from their intended route. Hey, guys, this doesn't look right, someone could say. The map says we're going the wrong way. A quick glance at the screen would confirm it. They would know right away. They could have corrected course, turned around, found their way back to the main highway. The entire terrible sequence of events might have been avoided before it even began. It wouldn't have been a mystery. There wouldn't have been that slow, creeping realization of being completely disoriented, the one that can lead to panic and poor decision. They would have had a reliable guide right there in their hand. Let's say, even with a phone, they still ended up on the Oroville-Quincy Highway. Maybe they made a conscious decision to go that way, for some unknown reason. Or maybe the phone died, or they weren't paying attention, but then the car gets stuck in the snow on that remote road. This is where things really started to go downhill. In 1978, if your car got stuck in a place like that, you had 2 choices: stay with the car and hope someone came by, or try to walk for help. Both were incredibly risky in freezing conditions, and they chose to leave the car. That was a fatal decision. The car, as desolate as it was, offered shelter. They had gas. The heater could have kept them warm for a long time. It was a metal box against the cold and wind. With a cell phone, that decision changes completely. As soon as the car got stuck, the first thing they would do is try to call for help. We're stuck in the snow. Here's our exact location. The phone's GPS would provide pinpoint coordinates. No need to describe landmarks or guess where they were, just share the location. They could call 911, they could call family, they could call a friend with a 4-wheel drive truck. Someone would know. Help would be dispatched. And the clear instruction from whoever they called would be, stay with the car. Do not leave the car. Help is on the way. That instruction would be crucial. When you're cold, tired, and scared, your judgment gets cloudy. Especially with intellectual disabilities, as these men had. They might have been easily panicked. They might have thought they had to walk for help, that it was their only option. But if they were told definitively by a calm voice on the phone to stay put, it's highly probable they would have listened. They could have conserved the car's fuel by running the engine intermittently for heat. They could have huddled together, they could have communicated their deteriorating condition if help was delayed. We're getting really cold. Can you tell us how much longer? That constant connection, that knowledge that someone knew where they were and was coming for them would have been an immense psychological comfort. It would have fought off the despair, the feeling of being completely abandoned. The phone could even be charged from the car's auxiliary power outlet, extending its battery life. They could have used its flashlight function if it got dark and they needed to check something outside. It would have been a lifeline, not just for communication, but as a multi-tool in a survival situation. But they left the car, and they started walking, in the snow, in freezing temperatures. Why? Again, we can only guess. Hypothermia causes confusion, disorientation, and irrational behavior. It can make you strip off your clothes thinking you're hot when you're freezing to death. It can make you walk in circles. It makes judgment disappear. They walked miles. They walked further away from the road, further into the wilderness. Eventually, some of them found their way to a small, abandoned Forest Service trailer. This trailer, incredibly, had food inside. It had heat. It had matches. It had supplies that could have sustained them. But they didn't use them. They died outside it. Some were found partially clothed. One was still inside the trailer, wrapped in a blanket, but he had starved. Imagine one of them, Theodore Wayher, who was eventually found inside that trailer. With a phone, he could have described finding the trailer. He could have been told how to use the supplies, how to light a fire, how to ration the food. He could have given his location. Someone could have told him, "Stay right there. You're safe. We see you on the GPS. We're coming to that trailer." The others, out in the snow, could have called for help as they struggled. As they got colder, as their bodies started to shut down, they could have given their last desperate location. The phone would have been a beacon. Even if they succumbed to the elements, their bodies would likely have been found much, much faster. The mystery would have been solved more quickly, and their families would have had answers sooner. The issue of their intellectual disabilities is a critical layer here. These men likely had a harder time processing complex information, making rapid decisions under duress, and understanding abstract dangers. A phone, in many ways, simplifies these challenges. Navigation becomes a simple visual task. The communication becomes direct and immediate. Emergency services are a tap away. Instructions from a dispatcher are clear and concise. Stay inside the warm car. Don't walk away. We're sending help. For individuals who might struggle with reading a paper map or figuring out complex directions, a GPS-enabled phone is a profound equalizer. It removes ambiguity. It provides certainty in uncertain times. And what about the mysterious Godmen sighting? A man later claimed he saw the 5 men gave them a ride and dropped them off at a different location earlier that night. His story was full of holes. Was he telling the truth? Was he involved? We'll never know for sure. The incident remains shrouded in doubt. With a cell phone, such an encounter would be entirely different. If someone offered them a ride, one of the men might have snapped a quick photo of the driver or the car. They might have shared their location with a family member or friend. "Hey, a guy offered us a ride. We're with him now. He's taking us somewhere." Even a simple call could have provided a crucial timestamp, an alibi, or a lead. The Godman story could have been verified or debunked almost instantly. If there was any foul play, the phone could have been a silent witness, recording conversations, providing evidence, or even used for a desperate call for help. The entire search effort too would have been fundamentally altered. In 1978, the search began days after they disappeared. There were days of precious time lost, the men's loved ones frantically calling around, reporting them missing. Then, the police investigation, the discovery of the car, and then the massive, agonizing search of a vast, unforgiving wilderness. It took months for 4 of the bodies to be found, and Matthias was never seen again. With a phone, the moment they got stuck, or the moment they knew they were lost, a call would have gone out. Search and rescue operations could have been initiated within hours, not days. They would have had a precise location to work with. No need to comb hundreds of square miles. They could have focused their efforts directly on the stranded vehicle or on the last known location reported by the men themselves. The cost of such a search, both in terms of financial resources and human effort, would have been drastically reduced. More importantly, the chances of finding them alive, or at least finding all of them, would have skyrocketed. Time is everything in survival situations, especially in extreme cold. A cell phone compresses that time. It shrinks the window of uncertainty. It brings help faster. The psychological impact of having a cell phone cannot be overstated either. When you are alone in a wilderness, freezing, scared, disoriented, the feeling of hopelessness can be overwhelming. It breaks down your will to survive. It clouds your thinking even further. But a phone, even if it's just buzzing with messages of support or showing a live map of rescuers approaching, offers a profound sense of connection. A lifeline to the world, a constant reminder that you are not forgotten, that help is coming. Just hold on. We're almost there. That simple message can give someone the strength to endure just a little longer. Of course, there are always practical limitations, battery life, for example. In extreme cold, phone batteries drain faster, but they were in a car initially. They could have kept the phone warm against their bodies, they could have used a car charger, and even if the battery died, they would have had crucial hours of communication, enough to send their location, report their situation, and initiate a rescue. Cellular coverage is another point. In remote mountain areas, even today, coverage can be spotty, but many areas do have some signal, and if they were on a road, even a remote one, there's a decent chance they might have found a signal, or known where to go to find 1EG, getting to a slightly higher elevation. Even a single drop call that transmits GPS coordinates could have been enough. And modern phones are designed to connect to the nearest tower, even if it's a weak signal, often enough for a text message or a 911 call. Now, what about their ability to use the phone effectively? Given their intellectual disabilities, would they have known what to do? Modern smartphones are incredibly intuitive. A simple call to 911 is often just a swipe and a tap. Many phones have emergency features that don't even require unlocking the device. Even if they struggled with complex functions, the basic ability to dial for help or share a location is quite user-friendly. And if they had family and friends who had taught them how to use it for emergencies, the chances would be even higher. So, when you look at all the factors, it becomes clear. The lack of a cell phone was not just an inconvenience for the Yuba County Five. It was a critical missing piece that, if present, could have fundamentally altered the course of that tragic night. A cell phone would have given them immediate awareness of being lost, no wandering off course for miles, a direct line to emergency services or loved ones, instant reporting of their predicament, precise location data. Search and rescue would know exactly where to go, guidance and instruction. Stay with the car, light a fire in the trailer. A psychological anchor, connection, hope, and reassurance in a terrifying situation, an early warning system for their deteriorating condition. The ability to verify or debunk encounters with strangers. The story of the Yuba County Five is a stark reminder of how vulnerable people were, and still can be, in the face of nature's indifference and isolation, especially without the tools we now take for granted. It highlights the profound impact of technology on our safety and survival. It's not about hype. It's not about marketing. It's just a simple, honest truth. In 1978, these men faced insurmountable odds once they got lost and stranded. They were cut off, they were alone, they were helpless. Today, a device that fits in your hand can bridge that gap. It connects you. It finds you. It calls for help. Would a cell phone have saved the Yuba County Five? Yes, almost certainly. It wouldn't have just made it easier to find them. It would have prevented them from ever being truly lost, from ever making that fatal decision to leave the car, and from ever succumbing to the cold and confusion of that terrible night. Their story is a powerful, silent testament to how much the world has changed, and what a simple piece of technology can mean for human life. And that's something worth thinking about every time we pull out our phones.